Barry, we had kind of just talked a little bit about it not too long ago, but why are you running for the Board of Education, and why do you feel like that you're a good candidate?
Sure. I think it's no secret that there's some challenges in the Kanawha County school system with kids who are reading and doing math on a grade level proficiency being about 40 to 45%, with 35% of the kids who graduate high school and want to go to college or ending up taking remedial courses. So I think there's some opportunities there for improvement. My background is largely in industrial management, industrial operations management, and one of the things we learned there is how to solve problems. And you put your resources and you attack the largest problem, you understand it, and then you work together to resolve the issue. I think that background, as well as my 21 years in the Army and Army Reserves, provides some leadership experience that I think will be very helpful to the board in helping them reach and achieve the goal of making Kanawha County Schools the premier school system in the state, and to make that diploma mean something.
I know off camera we talked a little bit about you used the word diploma. You wanted that diploma to mean something for a bunch of kids. Talk a little bit more about that and what you meant by that.
Sure. I think it's important that a diploma from Kanawha County Schools means something. It should mean something to the student. It should mean something to the parent. It should mean something to the employer when they go to get a job in the community. And, I liken it to when someone says they have a law degree from Harvard or they have an engineering degree from MIT. I think everyone understands that means quality, that means success, that means excellence. And it would be my goal to make Kanawha County School Diploma to mean just that, and for everyone to understand that and agree. I think it's important, as the largest school system in the state, to be the school system where people look at and say, I want my kids to go to that school system. And currently, though, student population is going down. So I think we've got some opportunities and some challenges ahead, and I think my leadership skills will help get us in that right direction.
And one of the big questions I know coming into this fall, what's school going to look like? Will kids be in school? Will it be virtual? Granted, I know you're not on the board right now, but what are your thoughts on going back to school, staying virtual, and what are maybe the ways that you would try and push for education in the fall?
Sure. I think the first thing that's important in going back to school is the safety, both of the students, the families that are represented there, as well as the teacher and the other school personnel. We've got to look at their safety first. There are some opportunities, I believe, with virtual, and hopefully we've learned a lot over the last couple of months when children are trying to engage virtually and teachers are trying to teach virtually. Hopefully we've had some lessons learned, and we can pull those lessons learned together, see what works best. But then the important thing is to then have an expectation from a superintendent's office that they take those lessons learned, they take best practices and deploy them throughout all the schools, and that all the schools are being consistent. One of the challenges that I know they had was consistency amongst the schools during this difficult time. And I understand it was certainly difficult, but I think the opportunity to be virtual provides the opportunity to postpone the school year as far as going into the buildings. And in fact, if I were on the board, I would strongly recommend that we at least consider changing the school calendar for the upcoming year. Students going back on August the 10th is challenging regardless of the situation, but this one makes it even more so. And I would hope that the school board would revisit next year's school calendar, consider starting a little bit later, and then if necessary, if we can not bring all the kids in safely, let's come up with some alternate plans to either do virtually in part, or bring them back in piecemeal. So it's something to consider.
And it's just difficult because every day you're losing time, and here you are right in the middle of an election campaign as well. But after that, you've got to make some big decisions. The board and the superintendent, of course, have some big decisions to make, and not in a small amount of time.
Sure, and again, I believe my experience being in industrial and operations management over some very large organizations, being in the military and combat, and being in some situations were very challenging. I think one of the things that I've got is some experience in making solid decisions and seeking out assistance from the stakeholders that are involved, bring them together, make a decision, and moving forward with that decision, and head toward the goal of educating the kids.
And one of the hot topics from last year, over the last couple of months, was the hiring of Tom Williams as superintendent. Controversial, some will say, others not necessarily, but how do you feel about that? And he's kind of on a one-year term right now, so it'll kind of just be an evaluation period, I guess.
Sure. On the hiring of Dr. Williams for the position of superintendent, I did speak against the process, not against Dr. Williams. I'm sure he's a very capable individual to perform that job, but the process needs to be transparent and it needs to be open for the public to see what's going on and what's the right thing. I supported a search. I understand the challenge of the financial part of performing a search, but I think there's other opportunities. Again, in my management career, if we were limited on funds, we still did searches, but we did them in a smaller region. And I think there are plenty of candidates within our region, within our state, that would have been interested in at least applying for that position and interviewing for that position, because I think we owe it to the kids, to the parents, to the school employees to have the best person in that position. And again, I'm not saying Dr. Williams is not the best person, but we don't know for sure, and we didn't go through a proper process. And I think in other positions in the school system, if that were to happen, I think rightly so, the folks around it would be very upset.
Finally, just wrapping up, do you have anything else that you'd like to add just about the election, what this process has been like, the crazy times that we're kind of in? Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Sure. I think, one of the things that, or the ideas that I'm bringing to the table that are a focus for me is, one, getting industrial arts programs in the middle school. I think we've got to make sure we engage the kids. If we want to have success, they have to want to come to school, and we need to give them those opportunities. Industrial arts in the middle school is one. Entrepreneurship programs in the high schools is another. It provides an opportunity for the kids who maybe college is not the right decision to have another opportunity and to be exposed to what else is out there. I think my experience, again, in the industrial environment can bring some leadership to that and provide those opportunities and provide some guidance as we develop those programs and develop those methods for the kids.